Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, best day of the week. Whether you work or you don't work, I gotta think that Friday is everybody's favorite day. If it's not your favorite day, if there's another day of the week that is like your all-time favorite day, put it in the comments. Let me see what people have to say on that. A couple of things I want to get to today, but I want to start out with the glaring In Touch magazine declaration yesterday, which I read on Instagram, that Andy Cohen was in the midst of negotiating his departure package from Bravo. And it was followed a couple of hours later by Bravo insider quoted as saying nothing could be further from the truth, not happening, fake news. And it just makes me very curious who dropped that headline to In Touch, who's behind that headline. Is it really happening? God, I hope not. Because to me, Andy Cohen is Bravo. He's the reason it is. He keeps it real and authentic because he's so pointed with the questions that he expects the Bravo celebrities, or he presents to the Bravo celebrities, the vehicle. He uses his Watch What Happens show, and of course his Radio Andy. I mean, the guy is everywhere. I just don't see Bravo happening or being the happening that it is without the Andy Cohen sensibilities. My 2 cents, I hope it's not true. I hope the denial's not true. I'd like to think it's somebody like one of the recently let go housewives trying to stir up some trouble in the background. I would not put this past Jill Zarin, who is licking her wounds after her horrible performance on Below Deck, where she was herself, and by being herself, she got all this hate comments from people about her behavior, which is really kind of despicable behavior. In fact, I think I even made the comment that I hope never to hear or see this woman again. She was that bad on Below Deck. And apparently she's shocked about that. She can't believe people are interpreting her that way. Really? So anyway, I don't know who's behind it. Hopefully the denial is 100% valid in the fact that this is not happening, that it's just fake news and somebody just trying to stir up trouble, up Brandy Glanville, somebody like that, Leah McSweeney. And I hope to get further clarification. In fact, I should really put on the Andy show. He's got a radio show, I think starts at 9 o'clock, see if he addresses that. So anyway, hope that's not true. And speaking of Leah McSweeney, I know I have mentioned this ad campaign one time before, and I'm going to hashtag it and everything. I can't recommend the cleverness of this campaign enough. It's on Instagram. It's by a jewelry maker named Alexis Bittar, Bittar, and they're doing this whole story. And it's little, 30-second vignettes that they're putting up following the trials and tribulations of this Upper East Side matron named Margot Goldrich, and the trials she goes through in hiring and firing her assistants who never quite live up to her expectations. And it's just over the top addictive. It's just wonderful. In fact, I'm even, and the jewelry and the bags this Alexis Bittar puts out there are great looking. I mean, they're big statement pieces, like you definitely can see the Countess wearing some of that. But you see ad campaigns with Beyonce wearing the earrings. I mean, they're really out there. They're fun. They're great looking pieces. And the prices are not that bad. They're not, solid gold. They're gold plated, but they're big and they're fun. And these big lucite bracelets. If I could recommend anything, go find that Instagram site, Alexis Bittar. Go through all the stories, and whenever you see a little video prompt there in the upper right-hand corner, click on that. It's part of the story. Go back as far as you can. I started following them in December. They put out 2 or 3 little stories a week, and there's a lot of drama. They've even married up two worlds. There were these two characters. One was this woman in Staten Island who just loved the jewelry, and of course Margot. Well, we've spoiler alert if you don't want to know. We find out the Staten Island woman is Margot's sister. Great stuff. Please do watch it. And the reason I brought it up is because there's now a character who I think is loosely based upon Leah McSweeney, who was Margot's first assistant named Jules, who is now suing Margot for $7 million for her horrible work experience. And this character, whose real name is Jules, um, fancies herself an influencer in Manhattan, and she's just that annoying girl. She's completely that annoying 20, 30 something influencer. Can't recommend it enough. Totally entertaining. The jewelry and the clutches and the bags and the other things that are being sold are great looking, and the prices are good. So let me recommend that. And I really, if you do watch it, put something in the comments for me. Let me know. I know I'm not alone because I see a lot of other people comment every time they post something. So it's a lot of fun. You'll really enjoy it. Okay, so I've been wanting to talk about the next subject. I've been wanting to talk about these two for a while, and I'm just going to put my 2 cents in. That's kind of on their side a little bit, but it certainly exposed something that this. I'd hate to be on the receiving end, and I'm talking about Harry and Meghan. Now, God love them. They're out there in California. They're trying to make their way. My only objection to them making their way is using their titles as a means to monetize their own lifestyle. That's cheesy. That is number one cheesy. And I think for me to root for them even is they gotta drop using the Duke and Duchess of Sussex because you decided you didn't want to go that route. It was a little too hard for you. You didn't get the spotlight you thought you were deserving. You had to be second fiddle to William and Catherine, who are spectacular. I cannot say enough, especially Catherine, who I adore. You're just not in that family, so please, the title was given to you by the family. The family can take it away from you as well. So, like I said, not big fans of them because they try to monetize the title and they're still trying to figure out ways to do it. But what I have noticed, because I do watch a couple of, one of them, Lady Colin Campbell, who I believe I've mentioned before, the number of channels dedicated to just bashing these two is I'm glad I'm not them. There's a lot of them, and their vitriol is incredible. I mean, they can't be that bad that you can do a solid 40 minutes on just bashing them. Yeah, they're bashable. I get it. I mean, the whole thing trying to monetize the titles is very cheesy. But boy, oh boy, the vitriol that these two are subjected to is amazing. And I never see anything that's pro about them. And it may be because of my algorithm. It's not going to show me anybody that's pro about them. But it's kind of stunning the amount that are dedicated only and strictly to bashing these two. They cannot put a foot right. There's nothing that they can do that these sites are not going to comment upon and bash them about. So anyway, I just want to put my 2 cents in about that. Now, speaking of another couple on the other end of the spectrum, and of course, they do not have any royal title, but they are quickly becoming the Prince and Princess of Wales of Bravo. The Prince and Princess of Bravo, and I'm talking about Greg and Paige. Craig Conover from Southern Hospitality, not Southern Hospitality, Southern Charmed, and Paige, who we first saw in Summer House, and we occasionally see. They go back and forth to each other's shows. They're just the most appealing little couple, and I pray that Paige is going to come to her senses and get and marry as soon as Craig would marry her in a second. He's very open about that. He wants to get married. He wants to start a family with her. He's the type of guy that settles down and wants to be with his girl. Guys like that are rare. And Paige, you got one. You got one. Not only is he all those things, but the guy is a producer. He has created wealth on his own. You've got a big part of it in cleaning up his act because he was getting a little paunchy there with the drink. He was hanging out with the boys a little too much. Then he met you, and you cleaned him up. He is a great-looking guy. The camera loves him. He is an entrepreneur, and like I said, he is a catch. And another thing, Paige, I'm going to tell it to you straight. Okay, you're an influence in New York, great, but you're going to be a lot more successful if you pull up stakes and you move to Charleston. Just saying. And plus, it'll be a better place to bring up your family. Just saying. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the Prince and Princess of Bravo. Now, okay, Alexis Bittar, I did talk about that. I'm going to just a little small thing here. This new Rebecca Minkoff, the new Minkoff. We had Crystal kicked off Beverly Hills, not kicked off, but her contract wasn't signed up. And now apparently we have, I think the first name is Rebecca Minkoff. She's going to be with the New York girls. Now, you already have Jenna Lyons, who is pretty high-powered in the fashion industry. And this Rebecca Minkoff has had success in the pocketbook design part of fashion, kind of like in a Kate Spade type of way, I guess you might want to compare. But my concern is, although she's on record saying she doesn't proselytize, which is good, she's a, well, it's not even one of my concerns, but she's a Scientologist. Now, I personally watch a couple of these Scientologist shows growing up in Scientology. I've mentioned it before in other posts about, they can do whatever they want, they can believe whatever they want, but when they're indoctrinating children, which they do, they're now second and maybe even third generation Scientologists out there, where the kids are not encouraged to go to school, get education. They are only to read the writings of LRH. Who was the founder, whatever his name is, LRH, I forget what the initials are for. That's concerning. And the couple of YouTube channelers who I watch, one of them being Aaron Smith-Levin, or Aaron Levin-Smith, I got that wrong, I think, are second generation who grew up believing this stuff, lockstep, boom, 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 and reached an age of reason, and did some math on their own, and for whatever reason broke away, and the biggest problem with Scientology, and one of my biggest objections with Scientology, is the fact that anybody who breaks away from this cult, they are ostracized like any other cult that you see. The people are ostracized. The family members are made to terminate, cease relations with them. There is to be no contact with them. They become what's called SPs, suppressive people. I mean, we saw Tom Cruise do that to Nicole Kidman. He, turned their children against Nicole Kidman because she was an SP. I mean, crazy ass stuff. You don't break up families. Do whatever you want to do. if you've got any confidence in whatever your religion is. But clearly, the fact that you then, work to break families up kind of makes your claims of, of being a valid religion really shaky. Uh, Back at, I guess it was in the 70s or late 80s, which is how I first became interested in Scientology as a subject. They were advertising heavily for their book Dianetics in the late 70s, early 80s. And I remember going to Caldors and I saw it in Caldors, and I picked it up. And so I'm reading it because, like I said, it was heavily, heavily being advertised. And when I came across the phrase, now this is supposed to be a holy book, right? I'm not saying they are equating it to the Bible or the Quran or any other holy scripture, but it is supposed to be their holy book. And any holy book that has the words "and for a nominal fee, you can." The words "and for a nominal fee" really, to me is kind of not shouldn't be in religious scripture. I'm just saying. So anyway, I read this in the 70s and I said, "Oh, these people are just a scam." And sure enough, when you watch these channels, they're, especially this guy growing up in Scientology, Aaron, he hones in, and Leah Remedy does this as well, how much the religion, just gouges their people. They constantly have to take training, and they have to be going up what they call the bridge. They use all these nautical terms because apparently the L. Ron Hubbard, that's his name, was in the Navy, so that's the structure he knows. So he based everything on the Navy. So they're going up the bridge of knowledge, and they are, they're paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, you hear the story all the time about Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, giving tens of millions of dollars to Scientology. If these people want to throw their money out the window, God love them. But when you're doing this to normal families who are not Bart Simpson, and you're constantly gouging them for thousands and thousands of dollars, you're a little suspect there, baby. Little suspect for a nominal fee. So the reason I bring it up is this Minkoff apparently is a Scientologist. So she better not prophesize because I think all hell will break loose. But don't be surprised if they're now very organized, these ex-Scientologist groups, these second generation ex-Scientologist groups. Don't be surprised if they somehow get into this mix. So that's going to be interesting to watch. We're going to see that. So we went Andy Cohen, we went Minkoff, we went Bittar. Okay. I am just, okay. I will bring, no. Yeah, I'll bring it up. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I went on and on about the Curse of Oak Island, which, by the way, has ended another season. And spoiler alert, they still didn't find anything. They went through a whole season, they dug up a lot of stuff, and they found nothing. So I can't wait for next year and see what happens. But there's another show in the same vein that does the same thing that's going to have the same viewership. And I am talking about Skinwalker Ranch, which apparently is this place out in Utah, in the hinterlands of Utah, which have strange magnetic happenings, anomalies, which is a word that they all love to use. Anomalies that occur, and they do all sorts of experiments. And they have guys on the show that appear to have true scientific bona fides and are very interesting and appealing to watch. But who knows what the hell they're finding? They shoot rockets in the air. They think they find these invisible things, and they're drilling things into the ground. And again, every season ends with no answers. So I think they're in season 5 of the same formula, and it's a great little show. I mean, they do have a lot of scientific information in it. It'd be a great show for kids who are interested in that sort of thing. But I just love the formula. You know, they have an interesting story to tell. They tease you along through the whole season, and of course, the season ends with hints of something big on the horizon. But of course, there's never is anything on the horizon. So that's an interesting show. I think it's also on the History Channel. I think once the Curse of Oak Island season is over, they go right into a Skinwalker Ranch season. So it's always very good. So anyway, that's all I have. Harry and Meghan get the hate channels. We understand that they got to dump the royal title, and I think they'll get a lot more people rooting for them. Craig and Paige, the prince and princess of Bravo. Skinwalker Ranch, Alexis Bittar. Please go to the Instagram, watch that, and it is just a ton of fun. And Andy Cohen, long may he wave. Oh, and of course, Rebecca Minkoff is going to be our little resident Scientologist in the Real Housewives of New York. So, thank you so much for joining me this week. I look forward to seeing you next week, and have a great weekend.